Okay, we'll start with opening and unpacking. And for that, we need a knife. And if you have trouble at this point, you probably ought to stop. Okay, so first important thing, always look at the instructions. Take a look here, look through it before we get started. And so all we need is the tool to remove the tie downs unique to vehicle. Otherwise, these are pretty generic instructions. This is where you need a utility knife, check kit content, vehicle prep, and pre-fitting. And so part of the prep is to wash and dry the bed thoroughly, review all instructions, and one of the things we're going to do is we're going to use some alcohol to clean where the tape goes. In the meantime, I need to get the tools needed to take those tie downs out. Okay, and now for this next part, we're going to have to remove the tie down hooks here, and that takes a Torx bit. And we'll find out here what size it is. It looks to me like a 45 is the correct size Torx bit. And so we'll go ahead and start getting that out. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and start it with this and then stop because it is somewhat repetitive kind of thing. And you probably don't want to do that too often. Look down in there, you can see there is Loctite on these bolts, and that is what makes it a little bit of a challenge to get them out. Okay, and now that we have both bed hooks, or both tie downs out, we'll go ahead and set all this off to the side and get ready to start on the actual preparation of the bed. So the next thing to do is the instructions tell us we're going to go ahead and lay this out, and we're going to figure out where the hooks go and the lights and things like that. We're going to kind of mark those out. Okay, so one of the things the instructions isn't really clear about is how to actually start installing the bed liner. So one of the things I do is I take the part where it goes toward the cab, and I go ahead and install the strips onto the Velcro here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it into place here, climb up in the bed, get it all pushed down around the corners, and I'm going to kind of get up here. And once I have that all in place, I'm going to have this kind of tucked in like that, and this tucked in like that, because that's basically where it's going to be going. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach down in here, and I'm going to pull that strip off, and basically I'm going to work the bed liner by pushing that into place first. And then after that, we'll get the top, and they get that secured, and then we're going to work on the actual bed part to get it secured down. Okay, so here we'll go ahead and push that through. now you see how it's coming through. Now you see how it's coming through back here. And then it's just a matter of getting it back over where we need it to get it bolted back in place. Okay, and so now this is what it looks like when it's tightened up inside of there. And you look at it from the outside here, and you still have the hook. It still moves around as much as you're probably going to need. And the front and everything still fits tight up against there like it's supposed to. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and repeat this for the other side, and then we'll be ready to start taking the protective cover off the Velcro and put it all in place. Getting ready to pull the tape off. One of the things I do as I'm getting ready to pull it off is I make sure I'm pushing down here as I take it off and put it in place to make sure that it's sitting as tight into the bed as possible. Okay, and so here we have the tape started. Notice I'm having it so I'm pulling up on it. As I'm going to put it in, I'm just going to get this first piece put in place, and I'm just basically pushing from inside the bed. And now it's a matter of walking it down as you pull the tape off. So I'm going to have to. So I'm going to keep pushing down against the bed. Just move along as we go. The tape and the bed rug. Installed against the bottom as we can get. And you just keep working your way down until the tape tears. Now we're going to have to figure out how to get that tape. Okay, so not the end of the world. It felt like it for about 2 seconds. Next, we're going to go ahead and get this top line, and that's going to basically be the same way. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. After we get the everything pushed back up in the corners here and so on where they need to be. So just make sure those are up there, and then you're going to start your tape. Probably the most fun part of this is getting a little bit of stuff off there. So we'll get that started and start putting this in place. And one other thing we're going to do here, because you see how loose that is we're going to take one of these little pieces that they give you. I'm going to put it right in here to keep that part intact. Okay, so we've got some pieces over here where the corners I know are going to be loose. And you see we got the Velcro there. And we also had some extra Velcro from when we put the bottom down. So I'm going to use these that are cut up to go ahead and get this side down nice and stable. And there you see how it is nice and down there right now. Push that back up. And now we have a nice tight fit right in here. In fact, we'll go ahead and probably add another piece right in here to keep that gap good. So one of the things I like to do is go ahead and cut out the rest of those little extra pieces that I had. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put all of these, in place in different places to make sure that I have them spread out before we actually go tape anything actually down. So that's what I'm going to do, and then I'll show where I have them and kind of we'll go from there. Okay, so now you see we have everything in place to where we want to put it, and everything's pretty well equally spaced. The critical parts are things such as this corner right here, and for me, the end strip on the bed right there. We got all that, and now what we're going to do is we're going to start at the front here near the cab, take tape off, and work our way back, just like we did on the cab wall. So what I do, and I do these, is I start on the bottom one, the lowermost one, and work my back first, and then we'll come back and get the top row. Okay, so we got that bottom row, at least the first 3 of them done here. And now I'm going to go ahead and start on the top row, and we're just going to kind of work it this way, up and down, back and forth, toward the back. Okay, so here we're starting on the second series on the bottom part of the side. And special note is to go ahead and get that hook in place, and then get this set up around the light before you start pushing things down. So we kind of got it up around the light there. Now we'll kind of push it in here like this. Make sure we got it far enough back so it's going to look right. And then we're going to work our way this way this time instead of from the front back. And there we go, we got that. And that light has got a pretty nice tight fit. That'll clean up when we put the top in there. You see how it's still got that little bit of gap right there? Well, when we go to put the top in, stretch it over like that. And we can also, the beauty of Velcro is we just go ahead and undo it, and then we can stretch it in there. The main thing we're doing when we put these pieces in is we're setting the height, and then we can set the actual horizontal location after we got this all on. Okay, so we got it all in place, and I'll tell you one of the irritants, and I had this with the last one of these I did on my Ram, is I don't understand why BedRug can't include some Velcro to put right here around the light fixtures. It just kind of leaves it looking kind of sloppy. That's not what you expect out of a $400 or $600 product. Okay, and so here's the next tricky part. And what we're going to do with this, because it's kind of tricky, is we're going to start at the bottom and work our way up so that when we come up here to get this in place, this just never quite fits the way you would think of it would in some ideal world. Because when you have it tied up there, you don't necessarily get it all the way down at the bottom, or the bottom will run into interference. Or maybe we'll go ahead and try it from the top and make it work down at the bottom. Yeah, we'll give that a try and I'll show you what happens. Okay, so all in all, doing it that approach by working from the top down didn't turn out too bad. Up here, just need to kind of tuck it in under the bed rail, and then we'll just kind of push it down, make sure it's in place. But you can see where it kind of leaves this gap down here, and that's just one of the irritants about this. But that's all in all not bad. It's more an OCD problem, yes, for me. Okay, now for the last part, we will put do the tailgate thing. And basically the tailgate approach is the same as we did before. These pieces of Velcro were actually attached onto here, and you take the backing off and you're going to put them down, and then it's going to go into place. The thing about the tailgate part, you do have to know, is this part actually goes down in between the tailgate and the bed itself. And then we're just going to put it on. What I do is I like to put it on from the middle and work my way outside. And one of the final things I do is to get this thing nice and tight and even at the top, is I'll go ahead and put the top in place first. And then I'm just going to kind of pull on it right here, like that. And I'm just going to kind of pull and work it down into place so that this right here gets nice and flat and smooth. So I'm just going to kind of do that, work the way across, and there you have it, the final installation, and you have the BedRug in place. Okay, now for the last part, we will put do the tailgate thing. And basically the tailgate approach is the same as we did before. These pieces of Velcro were actually attached onto here, and you take the backing off and you're going to put them down, and then it's going to go into place. The thing about the tailgate part, you do have to know, is this part actually goes down in between the tailgate and the bed itself. And then we're just going to put it on. What I do is I like to put it on from the middle and work my way outside. And one of the final things I do is to get this thing nice and tight and even at the top, is I'll go ahead and put the top in place first. And then I'm just going to kind of pull on it right here, like that. And I'm just going to kind of pull and work it down into place so that this right here gets nice and flat and smooth. So I'm just going to kind of do that, work the way across. And there you have it, the final installation, and you have the BedRug in place.